Sabi to, the Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Metro Manila is on its way to returning to pre-surge COVID-19 case levels. That's according to OCTA research fellow Professor Guido David. Speaking to the chiefs, David said that the country is 1 to 2 weeks away from pre-surge levels. That's if the downward trend subsists, supported by continued adherence to public health standards. But despite logging great numbers, David warns of Delta variant transmission if it breaches the country's borders. David said stricter border controls currently help prevent community transmission of the Delta variant.
We can compare it with pre-surge level. Before the surge nung late February to March, we were averaging between 400 and 500 cases per day. Well, yung best was maybe less than 400, pero between 400 to 500. And ngayon, we're averaging mga 680 cases per day. So medyo malapit na. Before the surge, yung positivity rate was between 4 to 5%. Right now, yung positivity rate natin is 6%.
David also said that the country may start reopening the economy further once 25 to 30% of NCR residents have been vaccinated. Calling it the next normal, David added that matters such as vaccinating children and creating separate spaces for those inoculated and not should also be discussed.
Ang target natin minimum 25 to 30% vaccination sa NCR. With our behavior naman, generally wearing face masks, social distancing, I think definitely we could start accelerating yung economic recovery natin. What do we do in the next normal? Maybe having some kind of separation between vaccinated and unvaccinated people in certain not everywhere.
The IATF and the Cebu provincial government have yet to find a middle ground on quarantine protocols for returning OFWs. Dale Devero with the details.
The Interagency Task Force and the Cebu provincial government are on a deadlock as regards returning overseas Filipinos. The IATF wants Cebu to abide by its rules. For returning Filipinos to undergo a full 10-day quarantine in a hotel, there will be a swab test on the 7th day. Even with a negative result, the OFW must finish the rest of the days at home. But in a surprise proposal, Governor Gwen Garcia wants an exemption for returning Cebu residents. Like their previous guidelines, they want returning Cebuanos to be allowed not to finish their entire quarantine if they have negative results.
Allow us to be responsible for the people who gave us this authority. Allow us to be able to face them and say, we are accountable to you. We will serve you with our utmost best.
The IATF are at a loss with the request for an exemption.
How can it be not clear this resolution of the IATF will be implemented in accordance with its very clear provisions?
I cannot implement two differing policies or rules. The rules of engagement should be the same.
Garcia insisted they are so far successful in managing the COVID crisis in their area to the point that they've maintained the least restrictive MGCQ status for over a year. IATF co-chairman Carlo Nograles has yet to finalize any middle ground. Their next round of consultation has yet to be determined after the technical working group meets with their provincial counterparts. For the meantime, as it stands, Cebu returnees must undergo swab upon arrival, finish a full 10-day quarantine, and get another swab on the 7th day. For News 5, Dale De Vera, we're One News.
A vaccine expert says mixing COVID-19 shots should only be considered if the country encounters supply issues. Vaccine expert panel head Dr. Nina Gloriani told 1PH sa Totoo Lang that it's still ideal for Filipinos to receive shots of the same brand and the same platform. She noted that although mixed vaccines are safe, those who receive these may encounter more side effects. Gloriani clarified, though, that these adverse effects are mild to moderate, as the country is set to conduct studies on mix-and-match vaccines beginning next month.
Yung gagawing pag-aaral ay mag-uumpisa pa lang ngayong July. Oo, pero siguro even before that, kung sakali at yung mga supplies natin ay hindi makarating, yung the same brand, like what we're having, I think, for yung Sputnik ba yan? Oo. We have to really consider, pero pag-aaralan din yan, and we have to make the recommendations accordingly.
On the same program, Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion said that the country can achieve population protection by September or October. And he says this is the go signal to further open the economy and tourism by the end of the year. But Concepcion adds that the Delta variant remains a threat to the country's goal of having a merrier Christmas.
Yung threat natin ay medyo yung Delta variant. So, yung programa namin, paano natin bubuksan ang economy as we approach yung population protection. Importante yan kasi anong pwede natin gawin sa ibang sektor na pwedeng mabuhay ulit, itong tourism sector. Ang problema dito, mga turista na galing sa ibang bansa.
Around 6.4 billion pesos of unobligated funds from the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, or Bayanihan II, expires today. According to Budget Department spokesperson, Assistant Secretary Rolando Toledo, these will be reverted back to the Bureau of Treasury. Speaking to Radyo 5's Ted Filon at DJ Chacha, Toledo added that only the validity of the appropriation has expired. But since the report is only as of June 25, he is optimistic that these funds have been obligated. This 6.49 billion peso fund is issued to various government agencies, including the Department of Education, the DSWD, and the DPWH.
June 25 po yung report na meron kami ngayon, So the total unobligated allotment from Bayanihan II amounts to 17.27 billion. Linawin ko lang, of this special appropriations equivalent to 6.49 billion will already expire by end of June pursuant to Republic Act number 11519. All unutilized funds that you have mentioned kanina will be reverted back to the Bureau of the Treasury.
One factory worker in Valenzuela went viral on social media after receiving a salary in centavo coins. The employer claims it was all a mix-up, but Valenzuela Mayor Rex Gatchalian says their business permit is at risk is found liable. Mobile journalist Julian Baiza gives us a front seat to the story.
After days of hard work, employees look forward to paydays. But that may not be the case for one factory worker in Valenzuela City. Russell Manyosa was given 1,000 pesos worth of his 2-day salary, all in loose coins. And not even in 1 peso coins, but in centavos. Netizens sympathize with the factory worker in the now viral story. This also reached the office of Valenzuela City Mayor Rex Gatchalian. He met with Manyosa and representatives of the Next Green factory. Manyosa claims the management intentionally gave him his salary in coins after he complained about alleged unfair labor practices within the company. But the company claims it was all just a mix-up and that the coins were to be donated to church. But Mayor Rex isn't buying this excuse. He says their business permit may be suspended if found liable for the incident.
Parang tugma yung amount doon sa halaga ng sweldo niya. If it's accidental, how come may butal?
Manyosa's case is nothing new. Last month, a similar complaint reached the Office of Public Affairs broadcaster Rafi Tulfo. The worker seeking complaint was given 2 sacks of coins worth 7,000 pesos. While money is still money, regardless of the form, as compensation is small coin denominations allowed under the Constitution.
Sa striktong interpretasyon, wala namang kasing nagsasabing batas na hindi ka pwedeng magbayad ng barya sa mga tauhan mo. So, because of yung ganong limitasyon, pwede din nating sabihin walang nababiolate na batas.
Though it's legal, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas puts a limit to how much one can pay in coins. 1, 5, and 10 peso coins may be used to pay for an amount not exceeding 1,000 pesos, while for smaller denominations like 5, 10, and 25 centavos, the limit is 100 pesos. Attorney DJ says the aggrieved person may also file a complaint for unjust vexation, but the criminal intent to annoy someone must be present. He adds these cases of unusual payment methods call for specific guidelines on compensation from the Department of Labor. Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
The world continues to see a boom in ocean plastics, prompting a rise in inventions to help clean up the sea. The latest warrior in this fight against plastic pollution, a drone army. Let's get the details from Bloomberg Quick Take. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.